Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Don Marsh. Well, it's a new month, and that means it's time to check in with our partners at Sauce Magazine for what we call the hit list. That's the list of what Sauce says are the must-try new eating and drinking establishments in this area. The range of those establishments this time moves from a brewery to a karaoke bar. Joining me in studio are Catherine Klene, managing editor of Sauce Magazine. Matt Sorrell is a staff writer for Sauce. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
We have a busy morning this morning with all of this, a number of places to talk about. And Matt begins with Asian cuisine, as I understand it.
Yeah, actually, I am starting out also with Asian cuisine that spans many, many different countries. This is a place called VP Square. It is just off the South Grand Strip. And a gentleman named Victor Pham and his family have opened this. They are also the owners of Cafe Mochi, which is just about a block or two away. So this is considered a pan-Asian restaurant. It encompasses, like I said, a lot of different cuisines. They've got ramen from Japan. They've got banh mi from Vietnam, bibimbap from Korea. Just some fantastic stuff. We really enjoyed their Szechuan hot pot. Very spicy, just a big pot of broth with all sorts of like pepper and noodles and greens and mushrooms and tofu and just all sorts of great stuff. So they also have the very popular bubble tea if you just want to pop in and have a bubble tea.
A bubble tea. Never heard of bubble tea, but we'll have to give it a try.
It's fun. It's worth a try.
Catherine, you've got a brewery that seems to be located in the right spot.
For sure, just a few blocks down from you, as it happens. Well Spent Brewing Company. So they opened doors in Midtown near Pappy's Smokehouse, kind of in that area. Brewer and owner Kyle Cole-Morgan specializes in low ABV beers, which it's kind of a nice change coming out of winter in these big, heavy stouts that everybody likes to drink. It's nice to kind of lighten things up. I recommend the Buck, which is this 3.2% Belgian single. And it has a little subtle nuttiness because he actually uses buckwheat in the malt, which is unusual. Usually it's just a mix of barley or corn or something like that. So this is a nice change and adds a little subtlety to it. I also really liked the House Saison, which is a 3.5% beer. It's light, a little funky, but not overly much. But those were two really nice ones that we enjoyed. They don't have any food yet. They do have a kitchen on site, but they're working to get that figured out. But in the meantime, they have tamales that you can order from the Tamale Man. They have those there that they can heat up for you. And you should keep an eye out for food trucks on the weekend. So far, Pie Hard and the Balkan Treat Box have both made stops there. Aside from the beer, though, my favorite thing about this place is the patio. They have a beautiful, spacious patio. It's almost as big as the tasting room themselves. It's on the street, but there's a gate, so you don't feel like you're, sitting next to parked cars all day. It feels like you're hanging out in somebody's city backyard, or at least it will when it's warm enough that we can actually use it. But I'm looking forward to going out there. So.
I was just going to say it's going to be a while,
eventually.
Apparently. Yeah. Well, Matt, if they don't serve food there, they can always order a pizza, especially if they like their pizza with beets.
Absolutely. So yeah, it wouldn't be a trip to the station here without talking about pizza. Mm-hmm. And so we have a couple. The first one I'm going to talk about is Baked Wood Fire Pizza Joint, which is actually from the folks behind Ferguson Brewing Company. They just recently opened this place a little ways up the road. We really liked a couple of pizzas. The margarita pizza, very traditional with just tomato sauce, mozzarella, little burrata, and basil. And then the one you referred to, the Beetza, which is has roasted beets, goat cheese, roasted garlics, and a little bit of walnuts on top for some crunch. And then sort of like a balsamic vinaigrette. So very interesting take on pizza. And if you like veggies, especially beets, that's for you. And then they also have a really nice pizza dough that they use for, among other things, cinnamon nuggets. So they make little balls of this pizza dough, roll it in cinnamon and sugar, and then serve it with a glaze dipping sauce. It's very nice.
Boy, there's quite a variety of taste sensations there, isn't there?
Exactly. And because they're owned by Ferguson Brewing Company, they have most of their beers on tap as well. And they do have at least one that I'm familiar with, beer that is brewed just for that place.
And what's the location again?
It is in Ferguson. It is actually on, I believe...
235 South Florissant Road.
I know it's on Florissant.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, pizza, and more pizza, Catherine.
So the first St. Louis area location of Blaze Pizza has opened. That actually is founded by LeBron James, the professional basketball player. And it offers sort of cooked-to-order, flash-cooked 11-inch pizzas, thin crust. It's meant to be sort of a fast, easy lunch option or dinner option. We really liked the Art Lover pizza there. It has artichokes, mozzarella, ricotta, chopped garlic, and just a little bit of red sauce, but not too much that it completely overpowers everything. We also really liked the Green Stripe, which has pesto drizzled over grilled chicken with roasted red peppers, garlic, mozzarella, and arugula, so a non-red sauce option for you. And that's located in Brentwood on Hanley.
Has anyone ever counted up the number of pizza places in this
We were
area?
actually just talking about that at the office, and we were going through our restaurant database, and there's got to be hundreds of pizza.
Easily, I
and
would
that's
say.
just places that serve only pizza. Can you imagine if we counted all the restaurants that also serve pizza in addition to everything else on their menu? It'd be tons.
Yeah, and the variety, again, going back, Matt, to the place you just talked about, with the beet pizza. I mean, they're just putting anything in the world on
They're
a pizza.
a blank canvas, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if it can be supported by a piece of crust, then you can try it.
All right, Matt, let's turn back to you. Now, karaoke. Are you a karaoke person?
No, I'm probably not the best person to talk about karaoke because I have had many karaoke fails over the years. But this place is really a lot of fun, even if you don't do the karaoke thing. So I think we all know that a lot of times karaoke is they'll be like doing a happy hour event or something like that. Somebody will bring in a portable karaoke rig and do that. This is actually a place that is built for karaoke. It's really interesting. It's called W Karaoke Lounge. It's in the Del Mar Loop. And it's considered to be an Asian-style karaoke parlor, which means it has soundproof rooms. It's very much dedicated to this hobby, if you want to call it that. It's got this incredible interior, lots of mirrors and lights, sort of like being in downtown Tokyo or Las Vegas. It's just a lot to take in. There's a public stage. They also have, like I mentioned, private soundproof rooms that you can rent by the hour. And then the kitchen actually is also interesting because these folks who own the W Karaoke Lounge also own Corner 17, which is a very popular noodle restaurant in the Loop, as well as Joy Luck Buffet. So they actually have a menu of sushi, some really nice sushi rolls, and then also some more traditional bar fare, things like wings, fried ravioli, so akin to a toasted ravioli, French fries, and that sort of thing.
You know, it's interesting. The last couple of times that we've gotten together, there's been a real variety in the kind of places that are opening. We're talking about karaoke, a place to eat, with karaoke. We talked about vending machines being part of the ambiance of these places. People are really going overboard, I would say. Well, maybe that's not the right word, but certainly imaginative and creative in coming up with ideas for these places.
I think you got to make yourself stand out a little bit, do something a little unique to kind of set yourself apart. But then also, I think the St. Louis dining community is just really excited to try new things and see, if you're going to open a brewery with a bunch of arcade games, let's try that out. If you're going to open a karaoke lounge in the Del Mar Loop, let's try that out. I think people like to do things in addition to just eating and drinking.
But that can be an expensive experiment.
Well, it's good for the businesses.
It can be. I know that for as far as the W Karaoke Lounge, there is a flat fee that you pay per hour for each room, depending on what size room it is. But you're not obligated to buy food or drink if you don't want to. So it actually, if you have 7 or 8 people, you split up. It could be a pretty reasonable evening. $10, $12 a person.
Well, let's see how that turns out. It's an interesting idea.
Absolutely.
Catherine, back to you with what I call a geography lesson.
Texas de Brazil.
Yeah.
So this is a Brazilian steakhouse chain that's also opened its first St. Louis area location. This one is in the Galleria. For people who maybe aren't familiar with the churrascaria style of Brazilian steakhouses, it's basically a concept where they take meat, it's skewered on a big, long, almost sword, basically, and grilled over open coals. And then when the meat is done, servers walk around the dining room with these skewers, and you sort of flag them down, and they cut off pieces of meat and serve it to you tableside. This isn't Texas de Brazil isn't the only place that does Brazilian steakhouse concept, but there's they're sort of all over the country and all over the world. So ones that we really liked, the sirloin cap, the flank steak, the braised beef ribs, and the sausage were all great options, and that's probably like 4 of 20 or options that you can get. You just kind of have to watch the room and see what's coming off fresh. The other element of a Brazilian steakhouse is a very extensive salad bar. So It's really an unlimited buffet. So there's a traditional salad bar, lots of greens, veggies, anything like that. But then there's also a hot bar, which really serves more like side dishes. You can get everything from a rice pilaf there to a moqueca, which is a traditional Brazilian fish stew, which has cod and a coconut curry sauce. We really liked those as well. And that's in the Galleria, so you can do some shopping and then swing by and fill up and refuel.
And if it's got Brazil in the title, it's got to have beef on the menu. No question about it.
Absolutely, yes. Many of those skewers will be beef that you will see walking around.
Well, let's continue our geography lesson, Matt. You're going to take us to the Caribbean this time?
Yes, Caribbean and beer. So Alpha Brewing Company recently opened a new location. It's on Juniata, just off Morgan Ford in South City. And so like so many breweries now, they're bringing in someone from the outside to do their food for them. And in this case, it's Plantain Girl, the other a.k.a. Mandy Estrella. And so she has been doing pop-ups for a while under the name Plantain Girl. As you can imagine, it's mostly Caribbean food. It's going to be plantain heavy, so kind of like plantains are like bananas, but just starchier, not quite as sweet, and they're usually cooked. So she's actually putting out some really interesting things in this brewery. She's got empanadas, she's got tacos, she's got a couple of marinated steak dishes, a jibarito sandwich, and a ropa vieja plate. And if you really want to do a little bit of everything, I suggest getting the vegetarian plate because it's got black beans, it's got rice, it's got maduros, which are ripe plantains, and tostones, which are twice-fried green plantains, and then some avocado, pickled onion. And all those are also available as sides individually, but if you want to try a bunch of stuff at the same time, that's a really good way to go.
Yeah, we should just advise people, if you think you're getting a banana and you have a plantain, you're in for a surprise.
Yeah, you don't
definitely.
You do not eat them raw. No.
Yeah.
Well, you're really a plantain is much more like a potato than it is a banana
absolutely.
in terms of how you prepare it.
Yeah. Other news, lots of stuff going on.
Absolutely. There's a lot going on. One of the bigger restaurant news stories of recent was the Benevolent King in Maplewood. The Benevolent King is the latest restaurant from chef and restaurateur Ben Paremba, who you may know from Olio, Elia, Nixta. He has an ownership in La Patisserie Chouquette as well. So he is opening his next establishment in Maplewood in the space that once housed Water Street, so right there on Manchester Road. The Benevolent King is inspired by Morocco, where Ben Paremba's mother is from. But while it's inspired by Morocco, it's not traditional Moroccan food. It's really more the flavors of the region that he's after. It's a small space, 28 seats. So we're anticipating that that'll be a very popular restaurant. Doors are slated to open sometime this month. I know they're working on some soft opening stuff and putting some finishing touches on.
Yeah, it should be within a week or so, I believe.
Right. Tony Saputo, who, Matt, I think you know pretty well, he recently helmed the bar at Atomic Cowboy. He'll be managing the bar program there, and that's going to be a pretty impressive one from what I recall.
Yeah, he's going to have a basic cocktail list of, I think, around 12 or 13 drinks, and these are all also named after different names that the king of Morocco, that this is named after, calls himself. They're all different appellations of his official titles.
Right. And some action going on in the Demon neighborhood.
So Demon Oyster Bar is, after 8 years, they're actually going to be switching out their seafood for sort of Mexican, Latin American, and Spanish food. They used to do last year a weekly farmers market on Saturday, where they would sell what they called backdoor burritos. They were so popular they decided to switch concepts, and now they're going to be doing those burritos in addition to many other, like I said, sort of Latin American, Mexican food as well. One of the reasons they stopped, they're going to stop doing it is it's just getting a little bit too expensive to be flying in oysters all the time, which I can understand.
Yeah.
Missouri's not exactly a coastal mecca.
No. Catherine, 30 seconds left. A couple of other places you wanted to mention.
Coffee houses are opening up second locations everywhere. Rise Coffee House in the Grove is going to be opening a second location at the Contemporary Art Museum in May. Kitchen Coffee House, which is located in Tower Grove East, is opening a South City location this summer. And Living Room Coffee House, which is originally in Maplewood, is opening up a coffee house in the same space as Craft Beer Cellar later this month in Southampton. So coffee houses everywhere, all opening new homes.
All righty. Lots of good news from the folks at Sauce Magazine. Pick up a copy, and you can learn more about the kinds of things we've been talking about. Catherine Klene, thank you for being with us. Matt Sorrell, great to see you again.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
See you in a month or so. Archived versions of past St. Louis On the Air programs available for download or podcast at stlpublicradio.org/STLOnAir. St. Louis On the Air is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU. Thank you for listening. I'm Don Marsh.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.